Okay, now we'll just come back to our video. So I welcome all of you. You all can hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, right.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we will start. Today is the day 1. That is for the chapter 1. So we have come to this course, Understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. And it is organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Mangalore. Right? This is our deity in the ISKCON Mangalore Temple. So let us do a Mangalacharna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanakta Shalakaya Takshun Minitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarachatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatru Abhyascha Kripa Sindhu Abheyevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavobhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we'll start the class. So as I said yesterday that we will be basing all our teachings based on Divine Gaze A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Arjuna of ISKCON, right? And yesterday we saw some interesting queries which you all have raised. I just put few of them here. So does Gita have any relevance to our current material life? This was one question, and said, will there be a change in me after this course? I think we should see in this after 18 days. Are these scriptures true? That is true, of course. How were temples constructed without the help of technology which we have today? So, and some were questions related to the characters of key players in Gita, Arjuna, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. This especially we are going to see in today's chapter. Okay. And what do we understand the emotions? So actually what we can say is people in bygone days were very, very intelligent and they had better technology. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen such temple constructions or such profound literatures or scriptures we see today. Okay. So with that, I just want to say, and this is, and we told also that Bhagavad Gita is an epic scripture and it gives an answers to all our problems. Okay. It was given as considered as a spiritual dictionary. This is just to give you a recap of what we said yesterday. A spiritual dictionary by Mahatma Gandhi, and we are going to see what is going to be the inspiration. And I also said that it is spoken in the battlefield 5,000 years ago, and it is still now also, it's a practical preaching book to us. So the question is that life manual, it has answers to all our problems. So what was the questions like we have in life? Many people say, why are we suffering? Why are there so much suffering in this world? And what are the ways for the happiness? And what is the goal of life? In fact, if you know your goal of life, then you can really make plans for it. Otherwise, today we are all just making plans without any goal. You might say it is very foolish I'm talking, but it is practical. See, suppose no, that if you want to join for engineering course, then you'll know, okay, I have to go for engineering. Then I will select whichever topics, like whether I like civil or like electrical, and then you have narrowed down. So you know your goal and you know what to do and things. But if you don't know what to choose, whether to go for engineering or this, then you're still not clear in your mind. Like that, today what in life is not just going to a education, but it's also so many aspects are there in life. So what is the primary goal in life many a time? And is there a life after that? So there are some questions like this for which we really do we get these answers from the modern science? That is another question. In fact, we think that we'll get all answers from science, but one practical thing which we have seen in the last 2 years is the corona itself. The coronavirus has affected the whole world. And why, if the science has advanced so much, why is so difficult to find a antivirus for that? Why, antidote for this disease? And why they were not prepared for it? Why couldn't we predict it? So there is a thing, modern science is still a lot of lacuna. And for these, we don't get any answers from the science. Actually, in happiness means what is the problems in life is not, there are 4 things. One is the problems is a birth. Once we take birth, we have to die. That is the other thing. But there are other 2 things like diseases and the old age. These are the 4 things which is common to all the people in the world, right? But still, we don't think we can get a modern science to give the answers. Still, they are trying to find. So these were the questions which we had generally, which we looked at yesterday. Why are we here? To know about Gita, of course. Is Gita a philosophy? Some might consider it as dry philosophy, but actually it's a science. And we're going to see how it is going to be. And is it relevant today or is it for a select group? If it is not, it's still correct. And what is there for me? I think that is what is, even Arjuna is asking Krishna, what is there for me? So we'll see what is Krishna is going to answer. And do we go about it? So one thing is common. All of us want happiness and satisfaction. This is something everybody one desires in this world. And do we get this answer in Bhagavad Gita is what we are going to see in the next 18 days. And again, I said yesterday that this is a vast book and it has got 18 chapters and 700 slokas. And today's chapter we saw, no, there was 46 slokas which are nicely there recited. It is actually, we are focusing in this course on the flow of thoughts between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. And among the 700 slokas, 574 slokas are spoken by Lord Krishna. And 84 was spoken by Arjuna. And 41 slokas are by Sanjaya. And only 1 sloka was spoken by Dhritarashtra. We'll see what are they. Okay. And the objective, as I said, it was to prepare you all for a deeper study of Gita. And one more thing which I didn't mention yesterday is that this Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 topics which we talk about in this Bhagavad Gita. It covers. One is the Ishvara, the one who is controller of the whole universe. Ishvara, who is the controller. And another thing we call about the Jiva. Jiva is a living entity like us, which are being controlled by the Ishvara. Then Prakriti is the nature, and Kala is the time, and Karma is our activities. So these are the things which we are going to deal. This is what the topics which are covered in this Bhagavad Gita. Okay, what are the relationship? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. And Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, they're all eternal, whereas Karma is the activities which is not karma, eternal. It is the activity which we do in this present life and what we have been doing in the past lives also. Right. So, and the mood of Arjuna we have to see, because Arjuna's bewilderment and appearance of illusion must be understood to be Krishna's arrangement, because we know Arjuna is a intelligent and he has very devotee, and also he's a great warrior. But how did this happen in this battlefield? So the only thing we can understand is because it's like a arrangement by the Lord. Why? If it was not for Arjuna's confusion or bewilderment, there wouldn't have been any necessity for Krishna to speak this Bhagavad Gita, because to rescue. But although it looks like Arjuna is the apparent first listener of the Bhagavad Gita, it was spoken especially for benefit for everyone. It is not for Arjuna alone. And one more thing, Arjuna is a warrior, he's a grahastha. Okay, he has a family, he has got, he's a kshatriya and warrior and all. It is for a householder itself. So all of us who are here, it is benefiting us. It's not just only for Arjuna. And he spoke in the battlefield itself, Krishna. So it is not for, it was all the common people. So let us reflect every day, at the end of the section, I'll reflect on certain things. And today let us reflect why does Arjuna inquire. Okay, we look at it. So let us start. So Arjuna's indecisiveness. So what happens is the scene is like this. It is the battlefield at Kurukshetra, and Krishna drives the chariot in midst of the armies, and Arjuna was difficulty to have to fight. He surrenders finally to Krishna and asks him. So the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So this is the sequence, okay, the scene which we have set up. So let us begin our journey with into this mysticism of Gita, because it has got everything, fiction and all that. It's not mystery, and it's also nice. So let us I welcome all to our thing. First, I start with the Adi Shankaracharya's his comment on Bhagavad Gita. In his Gita Mahatmya, he says, Sarva Upanishado Gavo, Dokta Gopala Nandana, Patho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. What does it say? All the Upanishads are like the cow. And the milker of the cow is none other than Lord Krishna. Arjuna is the calf. And the beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk. And the fortunate devotees we are the ones who are drinking this milk and enjoy. Okay, that's how he compares the Bhagavad Gita. So the first chapter, chapter 1, is about, it's called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Okay, Arjuna's yoga of lamentation. So what is it going to be? So we are going to see in this chapter the different reactions to the same scene. Who are the different players? Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and the Arjuna. Okay, we are going to seeing the same scene. What are their reactions and what are the things? And there's a conflict. See, this is a conflict within the family. Okay, within the family, there's a Kauravas and the Pandavas are the brothers, the cousin brothers, right? And there is a conflict. And what is the conflict? They're fighting for the kingdom, right? Actually, the sons of Pandavas are the right rulers, but Dhritarashtra was ruling it on behalf of his brother, because the brother was dead and Dhritarashtra was looking after the kingdom. But once the Pandavas, King Pandu's sons were grown up, he was supposed to hand over the kingdom, but he doesn't want, nor does his sons want. So this is the conflict in the thing. And this conflict is nothing new, In fact, we see this conflict every day in our life, all over the world. There's a conflict within the families, within the countries. Everywhere we are seeing wars are going, or someone is fighting here and something is happening. A lot of things are happening, right? So this is nothing new. So what is the solution and why it happens? That's it, what we are going to study in this Bhagavad Gita. So it starts with the first sloka. This is spoken by Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra uvacha dhamma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta suyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata Sanjaya. So what is this? This is Sanjaya. He is the secretary to the Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra is a blind king. He is blind from birth, and he is asking Sanjaya his thing, because Sanjaya has got the divine vision by Vedvyasa to see what is happening in the battlefield. These people are sitting in the palace, but from the palace he can see what's like now in TV. We see what is happening. Some cricket matches are played in Dubai or some in England, we are able to see, in the from the TV itself, sitting at home. Same here. This is being played somewhere else in the battlefield, but he's sitting and he's got the vision to see. He was given the vision to see that what's that. And so the king is asking him, what are they doing? That is Dharmashetra. Dharmashetra is a place of pilgrimage. Kurukshetra is the place of pilgrimage. It is near Delhi. And it is Samaveta Yutsava. They are all assembled there for fighting. Mamaka, my sons, and Pandavas, that is sons of Pandu. What are they? Kim Akruvata Sanjaya, what are they? So, here the three things you have to see in is the place where the battle is taking place is a place of pilgrimage. So, definitely if the pilgrimage place, if such a fight is there, then the victory will surely be on the side of the dharma. That is, whoever is right and doing righteous people, that only will be the victory. So that is a very significant thing we have to see. Another thing is, he is talking Mamaka Pandav. This shows clearly the what is in the minds of the king, Dhritarashtra. What is that is, he is trying to split his own, because Pandavas are there without the father. Yes, he has to look after his brother's children, and he should not show any discrimination. He should not think. But here he's clearly saying, my sons and sons of Pandavas. That is like, if you have put some lemon juice into milk, what happens? It splits into paneer and things, and with paneer only you can make a fruit. So, Kim Akruvata. What they can do with the paneer, you can only make a sweet, isn't it? But here, it's very clear they have come to fight. So, but why is he asking this question? So that we have to contemplate. Why is he asking? He's got a fear in his mind. He's very anxious. He wants to know the outcome of the battle soon. He wants to know. He's very, very fearing because he's scared. He knows that they are in the wrong and whatever they have been doing is wrong. But still, but he wants to somehow win the war because he thinks Bhishma is there, Bhishma Ji and the Dronacharya and all that. He has a big army and he believes that they could win the war. So, but actually, he was very partial. Okay. And he's, in fact, the responsible for the war. As a king, he should have been justified and he should take the right decision. But he didn't do it. He was the cause. He's the root cause. In fact, he was actually, though he was physically blind, he was spiritually blind. So he was not at all right. And he was, in fact, responsible for the war. So this was what we can see from this thing. Then what does Duryodhana? So this is Duryodhana. And who can tell who is this teacher? Is this teacher Dronacharya. Okay. So what does he say? Pashyatam Pandu Putranam Acharya Mahityam Chamam Yudam Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimatha. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So the way he is talking to his teacher, you can see. And you can also see he is very feared. Because he says, sons of Pandu, he was not expecting them to hold such a nice army and to arrange it very expertly. And that too, who was doing it? It was son of Drupada Drishtadyumna. Okay. Drishtadyumna was the one who was doing it, was the general on the Pandava side. Actually, Drupada was a friend of Dronacharya and they had some issues between them. Okay, there were some, and Drupada was very, he was upset, and what he wanted was, he wanted somehow to kill. He knew he cannot face Dronacharya, and he wanted him to be. So he does a lot of sacrifice, and from his sacrifice, son would be born, to kill Dronacharya. That is Drishtadyumna. So knowing that the son of Drupada will kill him, will be the cause for his death, but still Dronacharya accepted Drishtadyumna as his disciple and taught him all the military expertise. So this was known to the Duryodhana. So he's saying, see, because of your disciple. See, he's so intelligent. He has intelligently arranged the thing. So he was talking to him in a very disrespectful manner. You can see that. And you can also see his eyes, from his eyes. That is, this is Dronacharya. And that there is fear, and he's doubting his own people. He says, you are the cause. You are knowingly, you have taught everything to Pandus as well as to the son of Drupada. And he's a politician, so he wants to instigate them so that they will fight for him only, and they won't take the side of the Pandavas. So he wants to instigate them. It's like a politician, trying to pinpoint their faults and trying to see that they will fight for him. And he's a greedy person, and he is selfish also, and he will do anything. See, we saw in Mahabharata, we saw that he gave poison to Bhima, then he set fire to the house, he attacked them with their deadly weapons when they were in the forest. Then he plunders riches, he's occupying his uncle's land. Actually, he's not the rightful heir to this Shreyas, but and even they insulted the wife of Pandavas, Draupadi. So he will do anything. He is gone because he is very greedy and selfish. So this is what the characteristics we see with the two players. One is the Dhritarashtra we saw. Now we are seeing the Duryodhana, right? Now next is so seeing when we heard all this, what happens is Bhishma grandfather, he blows his conch shell because he wants to put a stop to the Duryodhana's talk. Okay. So once he blows the conch shell, then the whole Kauravas will blow the conch shells, and the other side Pandavas also do it. That is the sign of starting the battle, right? So what happens when all of them blow the conch shells? The Sanjaya is looking at it, and he sees the whole atmosphere is vibrating with the sound of the different conch shells. So what he says to Dhritarashtra is, Sa Gosha Dartrashtanam Vidayani Vyadara Nabascha Prithvim Chaiva Tumulo Payanudaya. So what is he saying? See, there's the blowing of different conch shells became so uproarious and vibrating in the sky and the whole earth, because you saw that thousands of people are there, soldiers are there in the battlefield, and all of them blowing the conch shells. And he could see the sons of Dhritarashtra being, their hearts are shattered. You could see the fear in them. That was so clear to him. Sanjay is sitting in the palace, but he could see the fear in the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. They knew that end has come by just the hearing the sounds to the blowing of the conch shells by Krishna, Arjuna, and all of them on the Pandava side. So this is how the Sanjaya saw them. That is Arjuna, Krishna, and the white horses they have, right? So what is nice about this Bhagavad Gita and thing is, in this battle, one thing is very clear. From the beginning, we know the outcome. We know who is going to win the war. Okay, there was nothing mysterious, because everybody knew the outcome, that it's not like a mysterious fiction we see, where we have to see to come to the end of the story to see who is going to, who is the murderer and who is going, what is the suspense, nothing like that. In this battle, everyone knew from beginning itself that the outcome is, it will be on the side of the Pandavas only. Why? Because the Krishna was there. So Sanjay is now noting the different signs of victory. He knew it also. Okay, he says, if this battle is fought on the Kurukshetra, it's a place of pilgrimage. Okay, that is Dhammakshetra. Another thing is the chariot which was on which the Arjuna was driving, it was given by the Lord Agni, and it is a divine chariot. Okay, it could go anywhere, it could fastly go along on the battlefield. And Kapidwaja, that is, the Hanuman was on the flag, and Hanuman was on the side of Ramayana. Hanuman, wherever Hanuman is there, it will be the victory for his Lord. Okay, he was there residing on, that was their Kapidwaja. Then Shankanada. So the conches which Krishna and Arjuna blew, that was a transcendental conches. Okay. And Ghandiva. Arjuna had this Ghandiva from by Lord Shiva when he did lot of tapas, Pashupatras. Tektat Jevita. Because here the soldiers and the generals and all the side, they have come, they know they have to lay their lives, but they were prepared to give their lives in this battle. And it was on Mokshada Ekadashi, which this battle has started, and it will go only for the people who are pious. And Bhagyalakshmi is a victory, goddess of victory, will be there on the side where Krishna is. Krishna is called as Rishikesha in this sloka. Okay, so this is what the outcome is known, and these are the signs of victory. It's very clear. And here one more thing to be noticed is the Lord is the charioteer. So that is one thing which you have to understand, because here Lord had, when Arjuna and Duryodhana had approached him to his help. So when he saw them, he says, he gives them an option. Say, I have one side, this my entire Narayana Sena is there. The other side, I will be there, but I won't fight. I won't take out any harms, nothing. But Arjuna chooses Krishna. He says, I don't want anything, don't fight. You just be on my side and you can be my chariot. Whereas Duryodhana will be very happy to have got the Narayana Sena. He doesn't realize the importance of Krishna. So, Krishna, he knows he's a devotee. He knows Arjuna is a devotee and he's even prepared to be his charioteer. So he doesn't mind. He does that. That is something which you need to understand. So we saw all the key players, right? Now we're going to see what was the reaction on Arjuna. So what did Arjuna say? So after the conches were blown, Arjuna tells to Krishna, now let us, before, he takes up his bow, but actually then he says, Krishna, please go into the middle of the battlefield. Let me see who have come and to fight, and who are the people who are siding Duryodhana. So the minute he goes there into the midst of the battlefield, what happens? He sees them, his own grandparents, in-laws, relatives, friends, cousins, and all prepared to fight. And this side also, his own friends are there, and his own father-in-law, their brothers, cousins, all of that entire view. The minute he sees everyone there, he starts telling Krishna, my limbs are quivering, my mouth is drying up. He's so compassionate. He can't believe that all of them have come up here and they have all assembled there to fight. So many of them. And his mouth is drying up. And it is all a symptoms, of showing that he was really disturbed. That his body was trembling. He was standing and his bow was slipping from his hand. And he's such a mighty warrior. He is so firm and determined. And for him to slip his bow, it was something unimaginable. Okay, why is he doing that? He was very, very compassionate. He's so compassionate to think he couldn't bear the sight of his own people standing, kinsmen standing there ready to fight, and he knew the outcome would be they will all die, and all for what? For a kingdom. And he's telling Krishna, how do I do this? How can I be so merciless? And there's no enjoyment at all, And see, we are telling the references also I'm giving here, to which verses we can read about this, the reasons. Okay, so that is the thing. And what is that? He's saying no enjoyment. Even because all of my contemporaries, they won't be there when I get the kingdom. So there's no enjoyment in this fight. Another thing he says, how can I kill my own relatives, my own friend, my own father, my grandfather, and my guru, teachers, and all that. So, and he says that, and he knows the Shastras. It's not that he doesn't know. He knows the Shastras. He knows it is sin. And so he says, how I can do this? So that is quoting on the Shastras when he's talking to Krishna. Okay, that is in the sloka 1.36. Then he says, if all these elderly people all die here, what happens to the family traditions? Because the women and the young people would be not having any protection. There won't be any elderly people to guide them. It will be a Varna Shankara. That means unwanted population will come up because the youth people will be misled, misguided, and there won't be anyone to tell them about the traditions like Pitra, when you have to give the forefathers that you have a pinda thing you give, there is a religious rites you have to follow. So many things are there which the elderly people only can give guidance. And if you don't do that, it is a sinful. He knows very well all these shastras which are there in the religious shastras. So he says all that will happen. Family traditions will be lost. And then finally, he can't decide what to do. That is comes up in the next chapter tomorrow, which we see. So he is indecisive. So these are the reasons he gives to Krishna why he cannot fight. And finally, he puts his bow down and says, let them kill me. I am not bothered. So this is what Sanjaya says. So what did we see in this chapter? This was the summary for observing the armies on the battlefield. Okay. And that is the first is the inquiry by the Dhritarashtra, Kim Akurvata. What was there? What are they doing in this fight? Actually, they have come to fight. He knows very well. But why is asking? Because he is scared. He is anxious to know who is going to win. And he was anxious and he was worried for his sons. And he knew very well that sons, Pandavas are very rightful and things. And also he was worried whether because they're fighting in the pilgrimage, place of pilgrimage, will it have an effect on his sons or on things? Like, if it will have an effect on his sons, they might not want to fight. He doesn't want that to happen. He wants the war to take place and he wants to know the outcome. So he is wanting the war, and at any cost, the war should take place. That is what his intention is, right? Then Duryodhana's fear we saw. That was why he was taken aback, surprised by the how the Pandavas could arrange such a nice military complex. They had arranged their army. Okay, that was because of Duma, the disciple of Dronacharya. Then when all the conches were blowing, that is a key thing, Hridyani Vedrat, the sons of Dhritarashtra were very scared. They were heart-sweating. Whereas Pandavas were very comfortable. They knew that Krishna is on their side and they were very confident of their victory. Okay, that is the difference which Sanjaya could observe. Then when we see now, we saw the Duryodhanas and the Dhritarashtras. Then we saw in this chapter, Arjuna's observation and the 5 reasons why he cannot fight is giving it to the thing. And Gandhivam Stramste Astat means it is Gandhivam is slipping from his arm. And then he says, gives all the reasons which we saw, and Apratikra. Then means he says, let them fight, I'll be armless, let them fight, I don't mind. They're losing the war. Finally, he gives up. So, what is the thing is Kimakruta? What are they doing? Right? And why does Arjuna inquire? Is he really bewildered, decisive? He has all the skills. He knows the values. I mean, everything we saw, no? He knew. I mean, he knew why the reason why they have come for the battle. He knew many things. All of it. But still, he became bewildered. And why is he asking? Did he lack intelligence? That's another thing. And by intelligence, there are 3 factors, which the modern scientists talk about, philosophers. One is IQ, UQ, and SQ. What are they? Their IQ is like, intelligent quotient. That, in fact, somewhere in 70s, they were always talking about IQ. The more high the IQ, then is the place to select for their team in the manufacturers and all that, based on their IQs. But the later they found there was another quotient for the performance. They might have a very intelligent, but they couldn't work in a team. So then they realized there's another factor which requires for the performance, and that is the emotional quotient which has come out. Okay, how they can work with a team, but they might be. But even then, this also they found that was not enough for the performance. And the philosophers now they come up in the recent times they talk about spiritual coefficient. So they are focusing on spirituality now. Okay, but we have been talking about spirituality from bygone years, right? So Hare Krishna. So let us stop on this, that, and we'll have some discussions, and all of you can see which you can relate to the questions, what you can relate to, whether it is compassion, which is right, it's no enjoyment, sin, family tradition, and indecision. So with this, I will close. I'll just say my prayers. Vancha kalpatru abhyascha, kripa sindhu evacha, patitam nam pavanebho, vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Okay, I will